Yeah, I want to say hi to Eric too. Hi, Eric.
Hey, Eric. Bruce, you want to say hello to Eric?
Hey, Eric.
Ralph?
Thanks for joining us. Eric, get off my lawn.
There you go. Sparky 107 wants to know how can he get to watch A Model Is Life or listen to A Model Is Life? How can he do that?
If he goes to amodelerslife.com, there's links there to the free site, which is Libsyn and iTunes, and there's other. You can get it on Google Play. He can get it on TuneIn and Spotify. But if he goes to the website, amodelerslife.com, there's links right there.
Zappa Gap.
Yeah. It's a CA type clue. Kevin said Flexifile plastic weld. And Ron was saying MEK.
No, I can use. No, I can weld with acetone. That works. It's beautiful. But I can't print this job in ABS. It has to be PLA.
So what I have here is, you'll see that I've got 9 different LEDs on here, and they're just kind of slowly changing. One comes on, one comes off. You know, it's kind of a slow pace. We could sit here all night watching this very slowly go, but you know, if you actually had these in windows in your different buildings, or even one in each different building, it doesn't even have to be windows in the same building, then you'd want it to go this slow or maybe even slower. And that's about the only thing I'm going to have to show you in the sketch. So we're going to go back to that real quick. Actually, let's build this thing first. So I just put it together so that you could see what we're going to end up doing. And what I'm going to do is just unplug my Arduino and tear this thing apart real quick.
Howdy, howdy, howdy. And it would help if I turned the panel on. Let's see if the panel's going to come up. There it is. Alright, now I got everything working. Well, looks like we got a few new people in here. Kiwi British Rail. Oh, there's Indian Head Valley Railroad, GAFA. JC's Rep Track. How y'all doing? Ari. Got Tim over here on the panel, and DeBob, Sam Cool, Hot Rod Rodney 25, and we got Jaffa in here too.
Rodney.
Can you hear us, Rodney? Just hold your hand up and wave.
I don't think so.
I'll turn my camera on.
Hey, Johnny.
Howdy, howdy.
Now I got something out of him.
Hey, Rodney.
You can hear us, but we can't hear you. We can see you.
I think his mic is off.
Yeah.
Now it's off.
Well, now it's off, but I don't know if it's plugged in or got a good volume on it.
Yeah.
Also looks like you got a little bit of bandwidth issues too.
Yeah, I think you got
That'll do it.
bandwidth issues more than anything.
Well, Happy New Year to everybody. This is the first show of the YouTube Mall Builders for 2019.
Happy New Year.
Hey, CSX Mad's in here now too. How you doing, Robert? And we got Dave Piper, BNSF 1982.
Hi, John.
Oh, yeah, seeing John Deal, he's saying hi, Ron Boyce. Like today, well, yesterday was Ron's birthday, but happy birthday, Ron. JT.
I see Dwight's in here too.
Yep, Dwight's in here. He wasn't the first one for a change.
No.
Got quite a big guys going on in the chat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I figured it's a new year. I should probably show up for this one.
Yeah.
Start off here, right, Bob?
Yep. I think it's one of my resolutions. Show up at least once a month.
That shouldn't be hard to do.
No. Maybe twice. Never know.
Hey, there's 4 shows a month, so all you gotta do is show up for one. So.
Well, we've got 4 months. This is going to be 5.
Ooh.
Last year was 3 months, but this year there's 4 months with 5 weeks.
Huh. Probably in the summer.
That means you're gonna get 4 blue moons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of weird stuff's gonna happen then. Or get accomplished, one of the two. If you get 4 blue moons, once in a blue moon's gotta happen 4 times.
Kind of kills the reason of having the blue moon, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I know Smurfs have a lot of blue moons, but that's about it.
I think Robert's right. I think Gap is up. I think he's addicted now.
Yeah. Yeah, CSX Matt said Jaffer's hooked on this stuff now.
Well, one of the things I got for Christmas was a new set of headsets.
Ah.
He's finally gave out.
Oh, that's your old set.
Yep. Now I got another updated version of Logitech headphones. So, these still work. It's just, they're peeling apart. The foam.
Yeah.
The ears were peeling apart. So.
I've had these. They're called Skull Candy. I mean, they're kind of a big brand, but they're like smaller than like Beats or both. I've had them for like 3 years, and they still work. They still charge, and they're Bluetooth. They work really great.
Yes, Rodney, we can see and hear you. Yeah, we can see and hear you.
I think I had those old set for about 4.5 years, something like that.
Yeah.
His mic is off on my screen.
Well, you can't get the mic to work at all. But yeah, mine, I had the Logitech, but I didn't have the expensive ones like you did. They gave up the Ghost, so I got the got a Corsair Void.
These seem a little tight because they're probably just new, but they're like squeezing my head real tight.
So they should have adjustment on there for it.
Oh yeah, well it doesn't have adjustment for the spring.
The Bob's got such a big head. I mean, it's.
Yeah, I got a big head.
Yeah. Turn your mic on, Rodney.
These are wireless, and they got little LED custom colors in here, so flash and surround sound.
Yeah, that's what mine does. I turned it all off. Turn the lights, everything off, so the battery lasts a lot longer.
Yeah, mine lasts up to 12 hours with them off. So 8 hours with them on.
Do you guys, like, for your wiring on your DCC, do you guys use, like, jumpers to connect your feeders to your bus line?
Yes. I have removable connectors, so I can take mine apart. Just plug them right in.
Mine are soldered. My bus is like 18 gauge wire, or maybe 16 gauge wire, and then my feeders are all magnet wire.
Does it matter what like size jumpers you use?
Well, first off, what are you talking about with jumpers? Because you talk about feeder wires and then you're saying jumpers.
Yeah, there's like jumpers, like the prongs. They're like
those are plugs.
Solderless connectors.
Those are plugs. Right. You're talking about plugs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you got your feeder wire coming off the track down through the layout. Then you got your bus line, which is going to be a larger gauge wire. So you can do it several ways. You can put a plug on them, so you can plug them in and out like Bob does, or you can solder them like Tim does.
Because there's like I saw like they had like I think they were plugs on the end of the wires. I think they were either speed connectors or something, and there were the screws, and those were like the blocks, and you put it on the screw, and then you took the jumper or the plug, and then looks like a dual pronged thing, that you slide onto the screw, and then you drop
yeah.
the feeder down.
Well, what you're doing is, Sam, that's called a spade lug. That's you clamp it onto the end of the wire, and then you hook it. Tim just put a bus up there in front of the camera. That's called a bus, a wiring bus.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
Yeah, you put them in there. Yes.
And you can put jumpers between those if you want.
This is a divided bus. Each one from here to here is connected, but from here to any of these other ones are not connected.
Yeah,
and that's where you put a jumper in.
Yeah, that's where the jumper comes in. What you call a jumper wire. Or you can buy them to where they're all connected.
Yeah.
And then you run your bus in on one end and then connect all your track up to the rest of the screws. The north and south. Each connector will be a north and one will be a south.
And what some guys do is we'll take these two center ones, and that will be your bus connection. That's where your bus wires will run into. You'll actually just run them to it, and then run the bus out on the other side. And you'll jumper from this side to this set of them, and from this side to this set of them, and then they can run their feeders to their track off each side.
Mm-hmm. Distribution
You think I'm not
of your power.
And they got buses like this too, a little bit bigger. But right now, I'm just soldering everything directly to my soldering my feeder wires, my track, then down through, and then soldering to my bus. I just stripped some of the wire back off my bus and soldered directly to it.
CSX Mad said that's a WAGO, W-A-G-O barrier. A lot of people just call them barrier strips.
Yeah.
You can buy them at Lowe's, Home Depot, go wiring store.
Yeah. I get mine at a liquidation place up there in Minneapolis.
I mean, there's here, we'll make it model railroading.
That's fitting Tyco.
Different Tyco. But still Tyco.
I know.
Yeah, a lot of places, like Brian W. said, they're listed as terminal blocks at retail stores. You can go online and probably get them a lot cheaper than you buy them at the store.
Yeah. You see them at the train shows, too. There's usually a tool shop or one of those stands or something.
You're going to pay more money for it.
Yeah.
And then a bus bar is generally, when you can think about a bus bar, it's all connected.
Yeah, that's a whole different animal anyway, bus bars. Hey, we got Northern Ohio Railroad action. Says good evening, fellas.
Good evening.
Hey, Jack.
Good evening. Practicing for next Halloween.
Here's what I got for...
Oh, yeah. That's right. Scratch that, Sam, because the Wago is a different type connector. That's what Jim was using. It's got these little flip levers, and you stick the wires in there and flip them down and lock them in place.
Oh, the red ones?
Well, they could be different colors, I guess, but yeah.
They're a little bit more complicated, devices. You just strip your wire, plug them in. And there's actually a little lever that snaps them down and locks them into the connector itself.
Yeah.
And then the other end's got.
Andy told me to not do that.
Huh?
Andy said that I shouldn't do that because I told him I was like thinking about doing this. He's like, no. He spent the next half hour explaining like spade connectors and terminal block.
Was he talking about the suitcase connectors, maybe?
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Yeah, suitcase. Yeah, a lot of people have different opinions on all of them. I mean,
Bob Railroad Magazine CDC use a lot of suitcase. They use suitcase connectors a lot. They got that tool for crimping them. What it does is you just run the wire through one side of it, and you crimp that little tine down, and it pierces the wire. and your jumper wire actually goes into the other side when you crimp it. You have one wire goes all the way through, and the other wire dead ends into it.
Yeah, actually, you're not piercing the wire. You're cutting through the insulation and scratching the wire on the other side. Some people think that's, it cuts the wire, but it really doesn't.
Well, it depends on what gauge wire you're using versus what gauge.
Yeah, but if you use the wire,
solid core.
if you use the wire that you put in, that says you use, you shouldn't have a problem.
Yeah, but a lot of people, they just, here's the suitcase connector, I'm going to crimp it on the wire.
Yeah,
I see it a lot.
like I've always said, that's their fault.
Yeah.
Do it right the first time, you don't have to keep redoing it.
Yeah. And a lot of the collars on the suitcase connectors have to do with the size of wire they support.
Because here they have different types of jumpers or barrier whatever. They have on this website, they have the TS200, the TS300, and the TS400.
Without the pictures, we don't know what you're talking about.
Hold on. I can do this. Hold on.
Bye. Hey, Sparky.
Okay, those there are for jumping the barrier strip. Those top ones.
Okay.
Those actually, that center groove will go across this little barrier right here. Your bigger notches go under your screws.
Or you just use a piece of wire.
Yeah. Those are for turning this into a bus bar, basically.
Okay.
The other little black jumper there is what you find on your motherboard. The little black square thing there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jumper for headers. That would be like on a PC motherboard or on your Arduino. That's for jumping the little the double pins together. Even on the back of your hard drive, you find those.
All right. So, which one would I need?
Depends on what you're doing. I mean, you're wanting to go from your feeder to your bus?
Yes. I think so.
Actually, I wouldn't even buy them.
I wouldn't either.
Yeah, no. Just take a small gauge piece of wire, strip it down, and just loop it around each one of the screws.
Yeah, the same gauge wire that's coming in, use the same gauge on the other side, or on the same side, depending on, if you're coming right in that center like you showed you, you put all your jumpers on one side that go to let's say the red wire. You use red jumpers on that side, use white on the other half, and you just feed in your supply line on that one side. On the other side, everything that touches the white side is going to be a white wire, and everything on the other side is going to be red. You just jumper through all of them, just kind of wrap it around. So it's pretty easy. You can take one long piece of wire, strip out the insulation in between it, and kind of zigzag it through around the screw, and that'll work too.
So I would take my bus line, because I have black wires and red wires.
Okay.
So I would strip down the end of the red wire and wrap it around the screw, and then have the other screw and wrap another red wire around it, and then connect it with a jumper or what?
Yeah. Just take a little piece of wire about, half an inch long. Strip it out, leave some insulation in the middle there, and just put it in a U shape. Stick it in around that insulation between the two sets of screws. Now you have a jumper. Then you make another one, go to the next one. But if you're using small gauge wire, like 18 gauge wire, it's a lot easier to do it that way.
Did you get this little square here, Sam? That came up with the screw?
I just got bigger. How do I?
You can double click on mine. Or double click on yours.
There we go.
Okay. So see, I got the little square that came up with the screw. Wait, see the little square that's moving with the screw? The wire will go underneath of that. Now you can either take your end of your wire and go right in there and then clamp down. And then there's your bus line, one of your bus lines going in. And what you would do is you take your other line, your other wire, let me put this on the other side, make it a little neater. At the same time, you're going to run another wire off the other side of this. That's too small, you probably wouldn't be able to see that.
Can you see that, Sam?
Yeah.
There's your main line coming in. You got a piece of copper wire. Hook it to that. Loop it around each one of the screw terminals. And then you hook all your wires into that. So like your reds, all your reds are over here. You do the same thing with the copper wire. That's your main coming back out. Going to another strip barrier for some more track.
Well, you don't have to do the other side because they're all electrically connected. But if you're
that's right.
Off, if you're splitting it off on the other side,
but you do this to both sides, because this one here will be your other main, be your red wire. That'll be your black wire. This is all your track feeders.
Yeah, not going for that in strip it.
Yep. If you use a solid wire for that loop through there, it's a lot easier. And the thinner the wire for that, because
if you got 20 gauge or 22 gauge, you can use that for your jumper wire.
Yeah, I have for my feeders. I have I think I either have 21 or 22 gauge for my feeder. And then I have like 18 for my bus.
Yeah.
But they're both stranded, which is the problem.
Well, you can still use stranded. It's just making sure you get your connection connected between each side.
The main thing about the solid wire for your feeder is that you can make the simulated spike head detail.
Yeah.
So what you do is you take a pair of pliers and you smash the end of it and then bend it over at a 90-degree angle. And you figure out how much of the wire you need, and you cut off one of your spike head details, drill it with a fine tip drill bit, and you shove this down it, and then you solder that bent over spot to the rail. And you take your other end and you connect it to either your bus bar or directly to your bus wire, either via a suitcase connector, splice it in. You know, what I do is I just strip some of the wire back, I wrap it, and then I solder it. And then I'll take liquid electrical tape and I'll tape it.
So on that terminal, you had it earlier where both of the red and the black wire were both, or it was both black, but both red and the black wire are going into the same screw.
No.
So, where would you put your feeders?
All right, what I was doing was showing was what Johnny had written out on paper there. All right. So, you see how I got that set up? That's my bus.
Yeah.
Now, the other wire, what I was going to show you was I was just going to jump from this side of this, or let me show you on this one, since you can see it. From this side of the screw plate over to this side of the screw plate. And from this side of the screw plate over to this side. And so on down, okay? And your actual feeder wires going to your track would go on this side. because electrically, because if you ever look at these, there's a bar of metal in between these screws. That's basically considered a bus bar. It connects the two screws together. There's nothing connecting any of these, so that's where you have to run your jumper wires from one point to the other point to another point. But then you run your feeders all off this side, and your rest of your bus line will continue on past this.
Okay. So you have to. So you say jumper wires. So do you have to buy a whole different set of wiring, or would you expose the red and black wire?
I could, if I strip this off. That's actually 14 gauge wire. If I strip off, I come in here, I lift this terminal up. And I can put both of these screws, both these wires, if I can hold them, with the camera in the way. Both the wires will go underneath that block. And I can take one of these wires and I can run it over here. I can cut it off, strip it, put it underneath this screw. And on this side of the screw. And then same thing, just daisy chain it down. It's a daisy chain is what it is. And then electrically they're already connected to these screws. Yeah. Once you make the connection to this screw is now electrically connected to this one because you got the wire jumping the connection. That's why it's called a jumper wire, because it jumps a connection. Those little jumper pads that you showed a while ago, those jumper connections, make that connection. They go from one side of this, past the barrier bar. Why it's called a barrier strip is that's a barrier bar. It will go past it and then back over to this screw. So by the time you get done, this one half down through here is all electrically connected. And you'll do the same thing over here. But you don't want to run anything from this side to this side.
You're out of screen there. Right there, yeah.
Don't make a jumper go from this side to this side. Because then you're short it out.
Yeah.
What you want to do is you want to go from here to there and say to there.
Yeah, I think it'd just be a lot easier for Sam just to buy the jumper strips and stick them in there.
What it sounds like.
Yeah, he's not
getting
this.
That hard, Sam.
It's not really this hard.
Just cut 4 pieces of wire about 1.5 inches long, strip both ends, and make a U and connect them together.
Oh, I see what you mean now.
Yeah,
because he didn't strip it.
Your bus line at first.
No, you're just extending the bus line that's coming in there to all the connectors for each polarity. You have a positive and negative polarity, so.
Yeah, you put so you put the jumper wire on the same screw as one of the bus line wires, and then you wrap it in the terminal block.
Right. Or just put little tiny wires in between each one is just as easy, like you just did right there.
Okay.
You put another one just like it next to the other one, just go around that black isolation barrier, basically. Now you have that black wire is the same connected to all those screws on that side. And same thing for red.
Okay.
You're just splitting over this way.
Yeah. And then you continue your bus, out.
Yeah.
On the other end.
On the other side.
And then you drop your feeders on the end of the terminal blocks on the left and right, or right and left.
You can, yes. Or you can
go into here.
Yeah. It depends on what you're trying to wire up. If you're trying to make a distribution of your bus, in this case, I need to go in 4 different directions. I can do that and say, okay, this is now going to go to the left. This set goes to the right, or this one goes down the middle. You can split up your bus so you can wire up different portions of your layout. Or let's say you have sections that come apart. This works just great. I'm just putting a connector somewhere here, and I can disconnect one side, and the wires can disconnect, and I can separate my 2 halves of my layout. It depends on what you're going to use the bus for as well. But this is just a way to split up your bus and have an area that you can connect up to however you want to. You can take, and once you have your bus run, you can just tap into the bus wires themselves, not on this particular area, and then just tap in your track to your actual bus wire along that route.
Okay. So the easiest way to do, like, if you're wiring your whole layout, the easiest way to do it is to do your main line first.
Yes.
And sprout off from that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And your bus will usually follow your track. And see, so now technically from here to here is an electrical connection. If I was to take a volt-ohm meter or a multimeter and do a continuity check from here to here, they're the same circuit.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Rodney, if you can hear me, you got a better picture now.
It's pretty simple to do, and like the Bob was saying, I can if I want to split my bus up into multiple directions, the jumper wire I'm going to use here needs to be the same size as my bus line.
Right.
If I'm just doing feeder wires, I can use the same size as I want to use a size in between, basically.
Right.
And this is why I use
Can anybody hear me?
Yeah. I can use the same size as I want to use the size in between, basically.
Rodney, you'll have to turn the volume off on the one you're watching. Go, we're getting the feedback.
He's watching us.
Rodney, you'll have to turn the volume off on the one you're watching. Go, we're getting the feedback.
So you want to go a size in between because you do that for current capacity. If you're going to break your bus up, you want larger bus wires than the bus wires going out. But it's still all the bus. It's still bus. When you're doing feeder wires, you want a wire basically in between this one and this. Because you're going to be pulling.
Now can you hear me?
You have potential to be pulling current through all of
Hang on. Rodney.
So you need to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, hang on a minute, Tim, because Rodney's not hearing us all that well. You got to turn the other device off, the volume, because you're causing the feedback in on the show.
I don't have nothing on but my computer.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I turned the volume down on my phone.
Do you have the YouTube show going? Like through YouTube?
Yeah, the YouTube's on and the appear-in's on.
Okay, mute the YouTube channel.
Yeah, mute the YouTube channel.
Mute the YouTube.
Yeah.
Yep.
mute the
So
sound.
go over
The world you do
that and
Hang on, Sam. Hang on. We can't have 6 people talking at one time. We got enough feedback going. All right, Rodney. If you can, on the YouTube channel, put your cursor on the viewer. Over towards the bottom left, you'll see the speaker. Just click on it, and it'll mute it.
on the speed.
Yeah, on the speaker. On the YouTube channel.
On the speaker that's supposed to be on my camera screen.
No, on the video that you're watching.
I don't have that.
I thought you said you had the...
Evidently.
You've... If you got YouTube and up here running at the same time on your computer...
You
Yeah.
have a screen like this open, Rodney?
Well, hold on a minute. I'll get off and go ahead and talk.
Now, it won't take but just a second here. We get you going.
Okay.
Well, watch your screen. Tim is showing you where to go to mute the speaker.
This is my YouTube feed right now. See the little speaker down here? Click it and it'll mute it.
Hold on a minute. I'm not looking at the right screen here. I gotta get rid of this chat in my phone. I can't see it. Oh, okay. Wait a minute. Coming up on the computer. It'll speak. Oh, okay. Yeah, I had that on Wayne Mann's screen or something, but it wasn't coming up on mine.
Yeah. I kill you.
Because I wasn't seeing me.
Yeah. Actually, if you're going to be on the pier, you really need to turn the YouTube off.
Okay, I can do that. I thought I had to go through YouTube to watch you to get into it. That's the reason I did that.
Oh,
no? Okay. I didn't know nothing about it really.
Yeah. No.
But
Well, we'll get you going here in a second. Alright, Sam Slarky 107 sent you a link to wiring. He did that on the last video you posted.
Yeah, I muted them.
Yeah. There's several good ones out there. But the reason why, like I'm saying, if you're going to split your bus off, you need a heavier gauge bus coming into your split than the bus coming out. And then your jumper wire needs to be a wire in between those sizes to handle current. Granted, we're not dealing with real high currents. But electrically, it's a good idea to get used to doing stuff like that.
So, what would happen if I used the same sized wire?
Nothing.
To split us?
With the low currents that we're using, really nothing. But if you get into higher currents, you can actually catch fire, start fire. Because if you pull, say you start pulling the same current out of all of them together, this wire cannot handle that kind of current.
Right.
You'll burn this wire up because it's now pulling 6 times the current as or 3 times the current. It's got to handle 3 times the current as what these wires can handle. So
it's not possible to start a fire with the amount of power that we use.
No.
It's possible,
like 14, 16 volts,
If you happen to smell something burning, turn your layout off and go find it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty unlikely at 16 volts, but
Yeah, and like what? Maybe 10 amps most.
Yeah, usually 10 amps if you're going a huge layout.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, most of your boosters
Well,
are
that's
off
right.
5. The magic smoke, right?
You don't want magic smoke.
No, you don't want to let the magic smoke out of your whole layout.
If something is smoking and the smoke is yellow, it's not a good thing.
Well, if it goes poof like this and a rabbit appears, that's magic smoke, and you've lost your layout because you just fried your.
Well, the rabbit that's also appear to Bob.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen electric circuit boards explode before. It's not pretty.
Yellow smoke is usually something plastic, like insulation.
Yeah.
Burning.
I think if the insulation is burning, we have a different problem.
Well, that means you're overcurrenting that circuit if you're burning insulation. And that's actually what will ignite the fire, because the insulation will burn off the wire first, and that wire gets cherry hot, and it's burnt the insulation off of it. Now it has potential to go up against something else and catch it on fire.
I had a derailed engine that kind of melted the plastic on the truck because I didn't catch it. I'm going, where's that engine at? And I'm like, oh.
Hey, you want to get an example of what not to do? Go look at Derek Glass's latest video where he shorted out his booster pack.
Mm.
He left the train running, and it jumped. It wound up jumping a turnout and shorted, and the booster kept trying to reset. Well, the wire keeps trying to reset. That wire gets hotter and hotter and hotter. Even though it's kicking off, the wire doesn't have enough time in between the resets to cool off, and it eventually started to melt the case on his booster.
Dang.
So that's
never just leave it running.
That's why he said to make sure you use circuit breakers.
Yeah, never leave your layout unattended anyway.
Yeah.
That's another big no-no that he did. He was trying to run in, and he walked off, and even if you think you've got impeccable track work, something can happen.
Yeah. Which I'm sure I will not.
Usually you can leave a DC single track running for a long period of time, especially the cheap loco you don't care about later, and just let it run. If it falls off the track, it falls off the track. But, DCC, that's a little bit more expensive.
Yeah.
All right, well, we're getting a little short on time, and I was going to show something here.
Good, brother.
Hey, Big Bill. Oh, Bill, whoever you sent that package to, they said thank you. It was way up in the chat, so I don't remember who that was. But anyhow.
It was supposed to go to me, though. How do you get it?
No. Anyway, all right, we're going to mess up the screen for everybody here. I was going to ask what y'all thought about doing animations. Let me get back over here to this screen so I can start it. Hopefully y'all will hear this.
Hey, that's a big blow.
But Ralph has always really loved animated features, and this is one of the coolest. This is a coal mine, and you can back hopper cars into the coal mine and fill them with mine-run coal. The coal train is now run down the branch line toward the main line, where the coal will be offloaded into the coaling tower at the Ogden Roundhouse. Okay, a quick trip through the Y here to reverse the direction of the train. That way the hopper cars can be backed onto the ramp up into the coaling tower for offloading. Uncoupling is achieved using KD magnetic uncoupling ramps. That's strictly from old school. Ralph doesn't use any picks or anything. He likes to do everything magnetically. That was pretty much the common practice back in the 60s, and a lot of people still do that. But these days, a lot of people are doing their uncoupling using a small wooden pick.
Let me know if he starts talking so I'm unmuting. Rodney.
Okay, as the coal loads arrive here at the coaling tower, the rear car is parked over a magnetic uncoupling ramp, and then the train pulled forward, separating the rear car from the train. That is then hooked to the cable tow that will pull the car up into the coaling tower. The loaded car is then pulled up the ramp. Notice that it's going through a spring switch here. That way, as the car is returned, it will automatically be placed out of the way of the next car on the siding. The coaling tower is a pretty much exact reproduction of the Ogden coaling tower. This little dip in the track right here is where sand was dumped into the sand house using the exact same technique. What we're doing here is offloading coal, which will be brought all the way to the top of the ramp and then dumped into the coal bin. At the top of the ramp, the car is pulled neatly into the enclosure and sort of locked in place so that the hatches on the bottom of the car can be opened, and the loose coal is then dumped into the coaling tower, ready to be loaded into locomotives. Ralph doesn't actually load the locomotives. The material just drops all the way through to the bottom to be recycled back to the mine. The empty car is now returned to the bottom of the ramp where it moves over onto the siding, and you're ready to bring another car up. This whole sequence is initiated by just pushing a button, and everything else is handled through automation. This feature was one of the very first ones on the railroad back in the 60s, and it's still working flawlessly to this day.
I got another one at 7:25.
Yeah.
Now notice the switch stands with switch lanterns on them that actually light up. Ralph made all of these, and he used to sell them through his Utah Pacific company. They're still available from another company. Ralph sold all the patterns for them. They're tiny, and yet they actually light up. When you look around, you realize that there's lights in a lot of things around the railroad, little small lanterns and other lit up features. Here we have a four-sided traffic light that was installed in 1968. It has been cycling through on all four sides ever since without one failure. It's fun to just look the railroad over and see just how many lit up features there are here. There are a bunch of them. Check out this cool wigwag. But pretty much everywhere you look, there's going to be some kind of interesting animated feature. That's part of what makes this railroad so amazing. Most of these little animated features are automated, but some of them are run manually. Well, I see that Ralph has pulled the wrecking crane out of the shop area, so let's take a look at that. This is an example of an animated feature that's run completely manually. It uses a DCC controller, just like the locomotives do. So you run the boom and the cables and so on from your throttle controls, just like you would with a locomotive. Inside the unit, Ralph has rigged several small motors to run the features. He builds all this stuff here at his bench. And then everything is controlled through a DCC controller, and if he wants to, he can sit and load and unload things using his crane. How cool is that?
Can you hear me, Johnny?
Yeah, we're kind of watching the video right now.
Now here's
Right,
another
yeah, I see that.
animated maintenance feature. We looked at this in the other show, but it's so cool we're going to visit it again. It's an Overland brass model, but after purchasing it, Ralph completely dismantled it, changed the details around quite a bit, but mostly he installed micro motors so that he could animate the whole thing and make it into an actual functional pile driver.
We'll have
As
to
this
mute you,
driver
get
is
rid of the feedback.
self-propelled, he's also got a sound system in here so that you can hear the steam engine running inside and even the steam engine running the pile driver. Once the pile driver arrives at the location where you want to drive pilings, the boom can be raised in preparation for driving a pile into the ground. The boom is now manually moved into position, and then the hammer can be engaged, driving the piling into the ground. Of course, the piling isn't actually being driven into the cement hard hydrocal here, it's just being simulated. Once you're done driving pilings, you can lower the boom and move the unit back into the maintenance of way area in the yard. And as always, we like to see what the railroad looks like after the shadows fall. So we doused the room lights and turned on all of the structure lights. It's amazing how much the character of a railroad changes when you turn down the lights. Until the room lights are turned down, you're really unaware of how visible the steam locomotives are inside the shops. But with the interior lights on, all kinds of interesting details come to life. Over here at the Wasatch Junction Depot, it seems to be perpetually Christmas. There's a Christmas tree up, and even though it's HO, there are Christmas lights. There's just an amazing level of detail on Ralph's Railroad. The track.
And that's it for that.
That's pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Yeah, I come across it the other day. Rodney.
Yeah.
Rodney.
Yeah.
We still got to get that YouTube volume turned off. You got both the Pier and YouTube are playing at the same time.
I'm not on YouTube.
Yeah, but you got both of them playing at the same time.
Well, I don't know how that's happening.
Because
I'm not on YouTube.
No, but your speaker volume is louder, so your microphone is picking up everything.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Rodney, have you got separate speakers?
Hold on a minute. I know what you're talking about now. I think I know what's wrong.
Yeah, you just turn them away from the computer so the microphone doesn't pick it up.
Okay, how about now?
All right, we'll see when we start talking. Yeah, I'm still picking it up.
I'm not on YouTube, guys.
Yeah, okay, no. You have separate speakers, though, right, on your computer?
Yes, I forgot I had you all on my tablet too, playing.
Yeah.
So that's probably where the echo sounds come from.
All right, so if you turn the volume off on the tablet, then it should be okay. We shouldn't get a feedback.
Only use one device.
So you're still getting feedback?
Well, we won't know till we start talking. Yeah.
Because I'm not going to be able to hear you if I turn my volume down completely.
Oh, okay. You're on tablet right now?
Yeah, laptop.
Laptop? Do you have separate speakers?
No, my phone and the tablet is both turned off from YouTube.
Do you have any
So
earbuds
the only
plug into the laptop?
Not
like
really.
Headphones, like headphones?
I'll have to go find a set.
Yeah. Because that's what probably you're going to have to do is plug in a little headphone thing saying we can't hear your speaker through the microphone.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, some laptops are just worse than others. They got the microphone too close.
That or he's got microphone volume too loud.
Well, that's big.
No, Ralph, he's got those turned off now. We done figured it out. He used a set of headphones. Yeah, he's on a laptop. You're ready. So what y'all think about the video?
It was pretty awesome.
I need to step up the game.
Yeah, I've seen the video before, and it's like he has a ton of brass models too, and it's just his collection is crazy, and the layout is crazy, and the fact that the layout's been around since like the 60s, and a lot of the stuff that was made then still works with, and it's all compatible with DCC and stuff. It's incredible.
Well, he's actually converted some of the stuff to DCC.
Right. But it's cool how he kept the originality of the layout with updating it.
Yeah, the working pile driver, that was phenomenal.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even know where to begin to, do something on that.
He's got another video about that same guy's layout too. I think he focused on the roundhouse in the other one.
Yeah, I think he did.
Yeah, I know he has one on like his collection of like models or like his brass stuff that either he's custom built or he's collected.
Plan on Ralph's Railroad.
And he designed them designed brass locomotives for one of the importers. So he ended up with a whole bunch of theirs, if I remember correctly. So yeah, it's got some kind of collection. It's some kind of layout too. And while he talks about it being kind of nostalgic, I don't think there's that much. As long as he's converted to DCC, which he has, then it wouldn't be that much different than how you build a layout today per se. Or some people would. A lot of people don't hand lay track anymore, but I don't know if a lot of people don't. But actually, with fast tracks, more and more people are hand lay tracking again these days. So I don't know.
Yeah. And did you see my latest video of my GN15 layout tour? He hand lays his track too.
Are you talking about? Yeah, I got you.
Yeah. He uses HO scale and everything's hand laid.
For those in the chat, I just put the link to that video in the chat area there. So,
Toyman TV.
Yeah, I think so.
That's what it sounded like him.
Yeah, it's Toyman TV.
Yeah, I think his is one of the, I don't know, one of the top 5 YouTube channels for baller railroading. His is a great channel.
Rail fanning at least, because he travels all the country.
One of my favorite railroads out there in the world, even though it's not, most of my favorite few railroads out there are not what I would do or not what I am doing, but that railroad in the attic, that's so many bulky levels and stuff, which sadly is being torn down to build those dioramas now, which upsets me tremendously. I wish I could win the N-Scale convention in Utah not too long ago because it was on display. I'd love to see that thing before it got torn down because that's some kind of John Allen-esque layout. It's the closest layout to John Allen it's the closest layout in the John Allen flavor that I've ever seen.
I was out there, but I didn't get to see it.
Oh, you didn't go to see that?
I didn't know.
You went to the Utah convention, but
yeah, I didn't know about it, and it cost me extra money. And everybody was complaining about the bus ride. It really stunk. Gave them a little bag lunch that was hot. It was supposed to be a cold sandwich. It was pretty bad.
I don't like.
We should have drove out there.
I despise the bus tours. I now, like some of the guys got together and rented a bus with Lionel.
Yeah.
Oh, they did already national. If I could have made it out, if me and Johnny would have made it out a day earlier to the show, we would have went on that too. That would have been great. I got no problem with that. But generally speaking, the shows put on that they do the bus tours for. No, I like the self-guided. If I can get in my car and drive out there or whatever, even if it has dedicated time slots, not a problem. Don't stick me on some bus.
Yeah, the Salt Lake buses lost their air conditioning. It was terrible. They went all the way out to the Golden Spike Museum area.
Yeah.
And the air conditioning cut out about halfway there. And they promised them a lunch, and they stopped at this little tiny gas station kind of thing. And it was really bad. Like, what are you doing, taking us here? You know, you could have gone to the.
This year is the bicentennial, right, of the Golden Spike.
Yeah, 150th.
Oh, okay. I forget what
Not
they
sure
call
what the
that.
number. Yeah.
It's the bicentennial or some crap like that. I can't remember how you say that, but yeah, 150 years. That's going to be great. They're bringing the theory is that the big boy will be under steam by then, right?
Right.
That's
going to bring the plan.
Yeah. The theory is it will be, which UP has been making massive progress. Hits another reason to follow Toyman TV because he goes out to the Cheyenne, I think, wherever it is that they're working on it. Is that the Cheyenne?
Yeah, Cheyenne.
Yep. So he's been out several times to show it with it all, with it all taken apart. The front trucks hanging off from it and stuff. I mean, it looks like, looks like many of us who've had a locomotive take the long trip to the floor. But
yep.
It was interesting. But he's been out several times to see that progress. Boy, they have made quick progress of it.
I thought it'd be farther along at this point when they're just finally putting the boiler on the wheels. I'm like, what? It starts supposed to be in like May 9th.
Right.
You only got 5 months to put this thing under and get ready and everything else. I'm like, I don't know. It may be under steam, but it may not be pulling anything.
Right. They're supposed to. They need to do some test runs. That was some of the best photographs they had of it. The last time it was in for the minor rework is when they pulled 140 stacks, set of double stacks up Cheyenne with the big boy. Boy, that's got to embarrass the guys who are fans of diesel because man, you can't get a diesel locomotive going to do what that big boy does, and in 100, knocking on 100 years old.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I hate to end this, but we're already run over time.
1 hour.
So yeah, we're coming into an hour 12. So, Rodney, if you can hear us, Tim put the link to the chat room You can go over there and they can work on your audio, help you get it straightened out. But appreciate everybody coming in tonight, and Happy New Year again. And we shall see you. Let's see. I haven't got my new calendar yet. Amazon's running late. Next show is going to be January the 8th. It's going to be the Fine Scale Bill. That'll be with Andy, Ralph, Lloyd, Miles. Be working on the hydrocal. Then January 16th, we got Joe's Train Room. Well, let's see, January the 9th, we've also got Who's Big Bill Talking To. So next week, we got 3 shows back to back. So that'll be January 8, 9, and 10, you got shows. So don't forget the Tuesday and Wednesday shows are at 8 o'clock Central, 9 o'clock Eastern Time. Thursday shows are at 9 o'clock Eastern, 10 o'clock. 9 o'clock Central, 10 o'clock Eastern Time. And one thing I am going to change this year is won't be giving out Central Time anymore. All times to be stated for Eastern. I'm getting a little too tongue-tied to be doing this. So
everybody else can do the conversions.
Y'all have a good night, good weekend, Happy New Year, and we shall see you next week.
All right, we'll see you, Johnny. I'm going to go pop over to the other room, see if I can help him out.
Yeah. Okay.